All right, what are we doing here? Phone. Stick it up. So getting all set up here. All right. So use a little more light up top. There we go. And now let's get the chat going here. Good morning, everyone. Let's see, where are you hiding at? There we are. All right, I think everybody's up and running. Good morning, everybody. Just going to continue with this thing here. I think I was going to work on this first, clean that up a little bit. So that way we're not making too much of a mess without seeing where we're able to go. So that's the big plan. One of my, I don't know if it's a hack or not, but one of the productivity things I like to emphasize is kind of knowing what your plan is when you sit down to work. And often that's helped out by stopping, especially if you know you're not going to be able to finish, stopping somewhere close to where you know exactly what you're going to do next. And so that's one of the things that, get out of there. That's what I need, really. You. Maybe you. That should be, I think, pretty much everybody I'm going to need at this point. Everybody else down here. But that's one of the things I like to do is make sure I know when I stop what I'm going to do next. That's better for me. That way I can more easily move forward. Like I threw these in here last time. It's the last minute thing. We're working on her. She needs more work, but I was going to start with this just because I want to fix these ellipses up. Let's see if I've got the proper, not quite circles, but I think these other ones just might be too narrow or too fat for those. So, but I think what we can do is set up our perspective. So for now, this is going to go back like that. It needs to go back similarly. All this bunch of stuff will get drawn over. And it's going to be a slide. Center of these is here. And that will help me at least get these nicely balanced out. So I've got like one there, one over here. Once it narrows, it goes back. And this will be the center of this all the way through. And that should be almost a perfect circle back there. I might even use a circle on that just to keep it round. So that's too big. So I guess it is you. See the lines there, so it could be taller. Put that up here, not to there. Move the dark one to there. I just need to delineate that better. Or if we are going to there, maybe that isn't quite the center. Maybe that is. That cleaner. Got it kind of embossed in there a little bit. I appreciate that. It's got a ways to go, but it's a good start. It's a little dark up there. Too dark. As it goes. I guess it's not too bad. Yeah, just kind of getting everything thought about and set up on here. Before I jump into it too quick, if I can leave this ellipses down here. Oh. Wide. That right over here. It's almost straight up and down here, but not quite, right? Alright. Let's get these ellipses cleaned up, huh? Good morning. Got a ways to go, but first thing I did was set up the overall effect I was looking for on the first day of this, and design the layout, everything like that. And then the second day, which was yesterday, started cleaning up that overall effect. So that way it's easier to read. That's how that should connect like that. Good morning. Little popping in and out. Happy Monday, by the way. Welcome to the brand new week. Good morning. All right, let's see. Let's see. Up these mechanical shapes, right? That's always the somewhat of a pain. Push these dark edges out. Then push the light out. Sure, I could probably ban that bot real quick. Bye. Like that. Whew. Mechanical stuff's intense, by the way. I haven't. It's really easy for me to do organic stuff because you can think fairly abstractly with it, but as soon as you kind of shift over to more mechanical stuff, you really got to nail that perspective. Clean up those edges in a way that makes it feel solid. If you want softer turnings, beveled, soft beveled edges. There's just some slider you can pull in, Blender or whatever, or ZBrush. You got to get it right. Otherwise, it'll look wrong. little more solid. Another bot to put down. I don't know why these ones don't just like automatically get banned. They literally put the same thing in there. Let's see. Every single time. Getting our clarity on here, right? That shoots something straight down. So it's connecting to something. Right. There we go. Just like here, low. There we go. That's probably better. these edges here. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Working on cleaning up the mess I made starting it. And then we can go into like really refining everything. It's pretty small too, so that's always part of the challenge, right? In here. Good morning. Good morning. Try to get this whole thing kind of reestablished. Good morning. You wash it up again? Come here. All right. Very good for time anyway. 45 minutes. All right. Let's see how long it kind of takes to clean stuff up, right? Good morning. Ah, look, another bot to kill. Who's that? Twitch. There you are. Block. Block. And I gotta go all the way over here. Oof. That's annoying. Wasting my time like that. And focus. I appreciate that. So this is session 3. So session 1, I kind of set it up a couple days ago. And then yesterday, I started kind of cleaning things up as I go back to front. So really like doing all these mechanical things. So the ellipses, the circles, architecture need to be cleaned up. Some cleanup on the figure. It's not quite done. And then this morning, I've just been working on this area. So I like to come in for about an hour work on these what I call morning study projects. So the idea behind the morning study project is basically there's something I'm trying to improve or learn that falls kind of outside of my normal daily activities. So acrylic paint, especially, has been something that's been kind of a bane. So I'm probably like 5 hours in on this, I think. Yeah, they take time, right, to do like real good traditional media, but yeah, acrylic's always been kind of a medium that I didn't really understand very well. I had to use it as a student, and I did not like it. It felt sticky and weird, and I didn't really understand color and composition and storytelling back then, like I do now. And then I had to teach it last semester. And I taught it once before, a few years back, so I had a bunch of acrylic paint. But I just mostly did like short little demos on things in that class. But this class last semester, I was like, hey, let's go ahead and I'm going to try and do some finished stuff. Give acrylic, another try. So I'm comfortable with like oils and gouache, watercolor to a certain degree. And of course, digital stuff is easy. I hate to burst anybody's bubble about digital, but digital is just easier. Nothing wrong with it. It's just I look at some of these people that spend huge hours on these digital paintings, and I wonder, well, maybe if you put that into like a real painting, you'd have like an actual artifact at the end rather than just a digital file. So I see these people that spend like the same kind of effort and time you would put into an oil painting or something, and they put it into digital, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I gave it a second try. It's like, hey, I give it a second try, and I liked the piece I did. So I was like, well, maybe I should spend some more time with acrylic. So that's what I've been doing in my morning study stuff. So I've got other projects I'm working on, and but I think part of my problem again is I just didn't understand painting as a student very well, and so that kind of got in my way, and then it was like the early medium I tried, and then I got into oil. And oil's nice just because you can, keep working on it while it's wet. And then I've been kind of rediscovering different mediums. Like I really like this high flow medium mixed with these heavy body paints. Makes them easier to push around. I should probably try the soft body acrylics. I've been looking at acrylic painters. Those works I've always liked. Michael Whalen or John Drew Poloncarz, or even like concept artists like Doug Chang, who did a bunch of acrylic stuff for the Star Wars prequels. Well, you can download the traditional art. You just got to digitize it, right? You got to put it on the computer, scan it in, or get a nice photograph, and then you send it off. Like there's painters, there's book cover people and artists who, really the only part they do on the computer is their photographs and their printing and then scanning. Everything else is done using real media, analog media, like Donato Giancola or Dan Dos Santos. Dan Dos Santos, he got to start when digital was starting to become big. He kind of stuck with the oil thing, among others. And you go look at his work, and it feels like it could be digital because of the intensity of the color. But I think just sometimes we forget how intense real media is. But yeah, there are certain advantages, right? It's fast. The things people talk about it being cheaper, and that's only half true, right? Because if you especially these days with what video cards are costing, new computers and that, thanks to our dear tech lords and their far-seeing eyes. Oh yeah, people can do. Yeah, they can do that too. Yeah, it's harder to fake real media, right? I mean, you can to a certain degree. Like, there's a painter I know. I'm pretty sure he's using AI for reference. He hasn't said he is, but I look at the colors and the composition, and it's something very different all of a sudden than what he was doing. I'm about 89% sure he switched to AI as his reference. This is the way the colors are working, especially the way the colors are working in his pictures. He's just it looks, it's got that AI smell all over it. A lot of people that do use AI, they don't recognize that it has that odor. It's like working from, like copying a photograph as your art. It has a certain sensibility to it. It's not that I'm using photo reference here. It's heavily manipulated, but it's up here on my iPad in front of me. But yeah, the lens distortions can be really weird in photos and whatnot. I don't think using it for reference is acceptable at all. The stuff is a liar, and it's built on it's a hallucinating idiot machine. It makes people dumber. So I don't use it at all for anything. If I find out reference I found is that, then I dump that right away. Because it's not real. It's fake. And it's also built on the stolen work of other artists and creatives. And I just find that to be reprehensible. So I don't use it at all for anything. If I find out there's some really smart way of doing things or whatever that's that actually improves human experience, then I'd consider it differently. But I haven't seen that yet. I've just heard people say, "Hey, I want, I take." I don't go down that road. It's like I have students who they hate AI, but they have no problem downloading artists' books, instruction books, and stealing them from them. I don't understand that attitude at all. It just doesn't make any sense. It's incoherent. But they justify it because, well, I don't have the money, and then I watch them, eating out all the time. Like, well, seems like you do. It's like when I was a student, I saved up for 5 months so I could buy a $100 art book from an artist. It's self-published, so it was very expensive. Because said he wanted complete control over the printing process. So he didn't want to hand it off to a publisher. But yeah, there's so many real things. And the problem with AI is it convinces you, because similar to like a photograph in a lot of ways, it convinces you that things are real, which are not. So you can maybe see, like, you download a picture of a tree or a boat or a building, and you're like, oh wow, this looks really neat. It's doing things that, or you create one, right? You generate an image, and you're like, oh, this is doing things that I would not expect to do, and therefore you copy it or use it as a reference guide. But the problem is that it gets in the way of you understanding of how things actually work, for one. And because of the fidelity, the detail levels in it, it will convince you that the way it's working is perfectly fine. And it also disrupts your ability to imagine things. So if you want to invent something and you just start to copy the AI stuff, then you lose that ability to imagine. So you can add on a whole lot of other problems with generative AI, whether it's the environmental harms, the waste that it's going into it. But I've yet to hear any positive justification. So, and there's evidence being created evidence being demonstrated in scientific studies recently that shows it actually does make you dumber. Like it literally shuts down your brain. It convinces you. It doesn't allow you to engage with the parts of your mind that would help you use your imagination and your intellect, because its answers are sufficiently correct looking that you just accept it. And so even if you believe that you're smart enough to spot the problems, eventually you just start accepting the lies that it gives you. And just in terms of like the tech stuff, like I think it's something like those news stories now that have like those AI summaries at the top of them for every like news website. 45% of those summaries contain hallucinations from that article. So it has that article below, and it's 45% of those contain some portion of that summary as being incorrect completely. Something in there is fake. A lot of people operate under the good enough. So, yeah, it's these are arguments I have with faculty members, which I just find bizarre. Like, I don't understand how they could possibly justify using AI on their students. Like they'll feed, some of them will feed their students' work into AI to give them critiques. Say, this is how it would be better if I blah 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 blah, rather than showing it themselves. And they may not recognize that, but students do not respect that at all. They really hate it, because they're there to learn from you, not from some slot machine. But yeah, every time I've talked to every justification I get is, well, I think, well, Twitch is hard to spot people on Twitch, and being controversial is more exciting, right? Usually, which I understand. it's definitely, contrast attracts attention. But again, there's a lot of art streams aren't that popular as it is, so that's just a whole thing all by itself. If I was doing a political stream or a gaming stream or something like that, if you wanted to watch me fail hard at games, I guess that's something that would attract more attention. Um, but that's just the fact of the matter. Yeah, but like the AI thing in teaching is weird because people I read an article a while back, an opinion article, saying that basically people that want to use it for in education, they're mistaking, or have students use it in their education, they're mistaking the product for the output. So the output is like the final your project, right? The things that you do, the papers you write, the artwork you do for your classes or whatever. Um, that would be your output. But the product of education is not the paper or the painting. The product of your education is your ability to do that work. And so if all you're producing is slop, ultimately, the generated slop, you're not learning anything, you're not doing anything. Like there's no reason for you to be there at all. And if you want to like demonstrate the lack of value of your brain, then yeah, use it. Um, but yeah, I don't. Yep, have a good one. Be sure and tell other people. If you want to make sure there's more people coming in here, be sure and share the stream or the link to the place. Um, Twitch growth is always really really slow compared to the other ones. So I think you're on, yeah, purple. All right, we've got that object all cleaned up, and it's been an hour, so I think that's a good goal. Maybe I'll touch these little things up here real quick while I've got this paint mixed. Get some of this color in here. So we have different sides on this branch a little bit. Yeah, so I think our 60 is going to be kind of the gray, our 30 will be the orange, and I think we might do some kind of green stuff for the 10. Trying to control the color palette in here as a test thing to do. All right. Good morning. I think I'm about to stop for the morning here. Move on to the next necessary activities for the day. I'm excited. I finally got my taxes done yesterday, so it took me a couple days of revving up to knock that out of the park. Hopefully, I didn't make any mistakes. And it says it was accepted, so I figured that out. It was last night, so Good. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate that. Just paint that. I didn't use very much of it. Feel bad about that. All right. Shadow up here on the border. So, acrylic, so it doesn't really need to set up, but feels human to have it there. All right. We got that all cleaned up, so I think next time we should be able to maybe focus on the figure and then work our way back to front. I think that's the big plan. I just used the one brush, so that's good, I guess. But yeah, thanks to everybody that came in. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all later.